Today we are covering section 2 in chapter 3. This follows along with yesterday's lecture. We talked about how pairs of lines and transversals relate and what kind of angles they form and all of that. Today we're going to talk about how those angles are related specifically to each other. To begin, we're going to start with corresponding angles. We said that corresponding angles are like 1 and 5 in this graphic. Corresponding angles that happen when a transversal cuts parallel lines are congruent. So that means angle 1 would be congruent to angle 5. Angle 2 would be congruent to angle 6. Angle 3 would be congruent to angle 7, and angle 4 would be congruent to angle 8. Alternate interior angles are also going to be congruent. So angle 3 will be congruent to angle 6, and angle 4 will be congruent to angle 5. Alternate exterior angles will be congruent. So angle 1 will be congruent to angle 8, and angle 2 will be congruent to angle 7. Consecutive interior angles are going to be supplementary. So, angle 3 and angle 5 will add together to equal 180. And angle 4 and angle 6 will do the same. Lastly, consecutive exterior angles. They will also be supplementary. So 1 and 7 will be 180, and then 2 and 8 will be equal to 180. Now, let's work a quick example. We know that the measure of angle 1 is 95 degrees. We don't know angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, angle 5, angle 6, angle 7, or angle 8 yet. But from these rules and theorems that we just set up, we can figure something out. 1 is going to be congruent to 4 because they are vertical angles. So, vertical angles. 4 will be congruent to 5 because they are alternate interior angles. And we won't list the reasons. Or we could say 5 is congruent to 1 because they are corresponding angles. And then lastly in that set will be 8. 8 is vertical to 5, corresponding to 4, or alternate exterior to 1. Now, that leaves us with 2. 1 forms a linear pair with 2. So we will take 180, subtract our 95, and get 85. 3 will also be 85 because it is vertical to 2 and linear to 1 and 4. 6 and 7 will also follow for similar reasoning. Now, we have discussed previously how linear pairs relate. Linear pairs are supplementary. And we have also previously discussed that vertical angles are congruent. Using these two concepts, as well as our new ones that we have just used today, I want you to work through the following examples and see if you can give me the angle measure, and it will go on the first line for each problem. That will be the angle measure. And then your reasoning will go on the second line. Okay? As you work through these, there can potentially be multiple reasons. Just make sure you think thoughtfully as to how you're working through it. So go ahead and hit pause and work through number 1, and then we'll move on to number 2. Okay, welcome back. We will move on to number 2. Go ahead and hit pause and work through number 2. Welcome back. Let's look at number 3. Go ahead, work through number 3, and we'll come back together. So hit pause. Welcome back. On to number 4. While we are working number 4, there may come a time where you might need to put this here and make that middle line disappear so that you can just look at the relationship between the 2x and the 3y. That is perfectly acceptable. So I will move it, let you see the problem. You can pause, work out what you need to, and then you can play. I'll put that back, and then pause once you're done, come back, and we will move on. Okay, welcome back. So, number 5, you may need to do this again. If so, go ahead and pause, and when you come back, I will cover the first part. Okay, welcome back. We will cover this part and go ahead and pause and work through. Okay, move that off now that you are back. You should have an answer for 5. So let's look at number 6. Number 6, I want you to just kind of give this a shot on your own. You can come back to this later, work through it, see what you can figure out. Let's look at 7. Okay, so we are told that there is we have an angle of depression from the horizontal, that is the airplane, and then we have an angle of elevation for the car. Since these are horizontal, they are parallel. We're told that angle 1 is 39 degrees. We need to find the measure of angle 2 and tell why. You should be able to see that the measure of angle 2 is also 39 degrees. And the reason is because 2 and 3 are alternate interior angles. Okay? On to number 8. So rectangles have parallel sides. So we have parallel sides. And these parallel sides are cut by this transversal. We're told that angle 1 measures 52 degrees. We want to find the measure of angle 2. Hopefully you can see that if we take the 52 out of 180, we will get that the measure of angle 2 is 128 degrees. And we do this because angle 1 and angle 2 are consecutive interior angles. Now, last one, number 9. I want you to work out A and B on a separate sheet of paper, and this is going to be for a homework grade. That's all for today. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you.